Hey everyone, welcome to College Football Trip Combinations for the 2019 season. Starting today, May 21st, I will be doing a video upload every Tuesday, sometimes between 5 and 9 p.m. that will provide college football trip combinations. Now these sometimes will be paired with other sporting events, but the main emphasis is on college football. There are about 14 weeks before the season starts, so we will dive into 1 week at a time until we get to August 20th. The video length will vary depending on how many trips are featured. I'll try to provide a practical trip and an ambitious trip to choose from. A little background on how I got started doing this was I went to the Alabama-Georgia State game back on October 5th, 2013. The Bama game was at 11:21 a.m. and the same day I drove an hour and a half west to Starkville, Mississippi, where I scalped a ticket for the LSU-Mississippi State game, which started at 6:30. This is one of the most exhilarating multiple trip experiences I've ever had, and this has always been a passion of mine. I've been to every SEC stadium for an SEC football game. So as far as these locations for the trip suggestions, they will be based on how the schedules line up for a particular area. I'll try to provide at least 2 trip combinations, sometimes more, sometimes just one. It depends on the types of games for that week. Not sure where you're starting at, but you could pick a trip closest to you, or you could drive or fly to one of these trips if you thought it was interesting to you. So let's dive into week 1 trip possibilities. Okay, so the practical trip starts Thursday night, August 30th, Georgia Tech at Clemson. Should be a good first opening ACC matchup. Then Clemson's Memorial Stadium's a little under 4 hours to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for Friday night's game between Utah State and Wake Forest at BB&T Field. Then it's an hour and a half drive from Winston-Salem to Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina for the UNC South Carolina game. So this trip offers 3 very good games for minimal driving in comparison to the games and venues you're getting to go to. This type of college football lineup doesn't happen too often, so it'd be a very fun trip to go to. Now, let's get to the ambitious trip possibility. Starts with the same game, Thursday night, August 30th, Georgia Tech at Clemson. Then you could drive about 2 hours southwest to Atlanta for the Braves-White Sox game at 7:20 Friday night. Then, Saturday, you're already in the area for Alabama versus Duke at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Sunday, you could go back to the Braves-White Sox at 5:10, or you could start the trek to Louisville for the Monday night game between Notre Dame and Louisville, which is a 6.5-hour drive from Atlanta. My take on this is that epic football trips like this don't come around too often. Schedules very rarely line up in this region like they are for this week. College football teams will be playing on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. There's actually a game on Sunday, but it's not relevant to this trip. If you can make this trip, it would be epic and you should go. If you're unsure about the cost and the affordability of this trip, there are always ways to make these trips more affordable. Just refer back to my 5-part how-to series with event trips, and they'll give you some helpful insights on tips. Now, the West Coast trip. Friday night, Oklahoma State at Oregon State. It's a pretty cool Friday night matchup, which should have a great atmosphere. Then you could drive 4.5 hours from Corvallis up north to Seattle to watch Saturday's game between Eastern Washington at Washington. The chance to get to go to Oregon State and Washington in the same trip is intriguing, to say the least. Another trip possibility in the West starts on Friday night between Colorado State and Colorado. Then drive 2 hours 15 minutes north to Laramie for Saturday's matchup with Missouri at Wyoming. These two West trip combinations are about the same level when it comes to practicality. Even though there is only 2 games for these West trips, they're all destinations I wouldn't mind going to one day. So, question for everybody. Which week 1 trip combination sounds coolest to you? Comment below and let's get some conversation started with this. Also, if you like this video, please hit the like button. I hope you like this first episode and tune in next week, next Tuesday.